Is that what it means to be black in the United States?
And we're ready. Quiet on the set.
Stand by.
Stand by, camera one. Stand by to mic and cue.
3, 2, 1.
Two Distant Strangers was written by Travon Free, directed by Free and Martin Desmond Rowe. It stars Joey Badass and Andrew Howard. The movie is about a young black man named Carter, played by Joey Badass, trying to get home to his dog but is stuck in a time loop. He ends up reliving a violent episode with a cop named Merc, played by Andrew Howard. Time loops have been somewhat overused in movies, but in this short film it is key to understanding the protagonist's perspective. The racist cop always gets in Carter's way and eventually shoots him at the end of each scene. Now, I've separated this review into various categories. The first one is script. The script is well written and developed with characters that are mostly believable in the context of today's unfortunate racial and political climate. Perhaps the script could have been stretched out to include more nuance. For instance, we could have seen more from the perspective of the cop Merc. But I also have to address a separate issue that came up in my research. I was disappointed to learn that there's a legal dispute surrounding the plot idea. There was a video posted to YouTube in December of 2016, the link of which is in the description below, entitled Groundhog Day for a Black Man. That 4-minute 15-second video was about, you guessed it, a black man who wakes up in the morning, goes out for a drive, is stopped by a cop who then overreacts and kills him, and then he realizes he's stuck in a time loop. The man changes how he responds to the situation to avoid being shot and killed. Sound familiar?
Yeah.
There are major differences between the films. As they say, the devil is in the details, to the extent that the film on Netflix is, in my opinion, much better, more professionally produced. The film on YouTube, for instance, is meant as a semi-comedic drama featuring obvious overacting to make the point that white cops react differently depending on the color of a person's skin. The Netflix film, in contrast, is more realistic and deals with actual, well-known instances of police violence on persons of color, most notably the separate cases of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. The endings are very different as well, but I won't talk about that so as to not reveal any spoilers. Overall, I give the script a thumbs up. Moreover, despite many commentators on YouTube who don't like the ending, I actually do like it. The next category is acting. With this, I felt the actors did a great job portraying their characters. At times, however, the cop played by Andrew Howard seemed a little abrupt and forced. That could have been a function of the script, since each scene that leads to violence transpires quickly. After all, it's only a 30-minute film. The next category is audio or sound effects music. The audio quality was natural, which included everyday noises like the door closing, bed sheets ruffling, etc. At times, some sounds were overemphasized, like when the man spilled his coffee, we heard the liquid spilling on the street, and to me that didn't exactly sound right. When fights broke out, we heard the ruffling or the rustling of hands and clothing. You got the impacts on the ground and other sound effects like police car sirens, even though no cop cars were in the scene. Audio effects like echo, as well as the quieting of certain voice tracks, while emphasizing the main protagonist, were used strategically. Like when the cop had forced Carter to the ground and had him in a chokehold. You see the sequence where Carter he starts losing his breath and he starts getting dizzy, and his voice is heard a lot louder than the cop's voice. Overall, I give a thumbs up for the audio. As far as special effects, there weren't any effects besides some made in camera, such as sun glare getting into the lens, so not much to say in this category. The next category is color grading. The color grade. So the overall color grade was natural with a medium contrast look that emphasized the ebony skin tones of the black actors. Though color saturation to me was somewhat muted, there also seemed to be a slight orange cast in the midtones, which is more noticeable when natural wood furniture is in the background. Overall, I give the color grade a thumbs up, although personally I would have increased the saturation and contrast slightly to give the film a little bit more punch. As far as the overall rating for the film, I give it an 8.5. I like the script, including the ending, despite other critiques I've seen on YouTube. The writer, Travon explained that he intended the film to be watched by people who didn't realize the gravity of race politics in the United States.
And that to me was what the movie, represented when the idea came to me. It was, how can I visualize this cycle so that other people who aren't Black understand it? I wanted people to understand beyond the conversations we were having on social media and on the news.
In his interview with Trevor Noah, he explained that he started writing it after watching news stories about George Floyd. To him, the movie represents the emotional roller coaster he and others go through when there's story after story of police violence. And I think he was successful in that regard. For more videos, please subscribe. I will post a new video every Monday. See you later.